Mr Deputy Speaker, it's a huge privilege to lead tonight's adjournment debate on the Cadet Expansion Programme, and I'm grateful to the Minister for responding. Almost exactly 40 years ago, it was 40 years, when I was a young Army cadet in Guildford, the Combined Cadet Force at my school deployed to Oakhampton for its Easter camp. During that week, cadets participated in a night navigation exercise across the notorious Dartmoor. Given the cold weather and awful terrain, this would have been a challenge at any time, but we had barely left Oakhampton when thick fog engulfed us, to the point when you could not even see your hand in front of your face. Sensing the danger, the three of us in my group used all of the training we'd been given to not just get off the moor, but to complete the exercise together. The young cadets alongside me were Hamish Walker and Graham Atkinson, and I will never forget the experience. Anybody who is familiar with military service will know that heightened sense of vigilance, tension and excitement when travelling cross-country at night. Totally confident in what the map and compass were telling us and meticulously counting our paces, we worked together to double-check our navigation and agree every decision we made. And this was long before sat-nav. Utterly blind due to the fog, but trusting our instincts, training and the compass needle, it was that potent combination of teamwork, resilience, informed judgment and competitive spirit that you get with military service that saw us succeed against the odds, even as 13-year-old kids. But this was typical of what cadets still do, whether abseiling down dams, building shelters, learning to ski or shoot, escaping from a capsized canoe, preparing an ambush or cooking in the field. The skills that I acquired as an Army cadet for 5 years at school and then for a further 3 years at the University Officer Training Corps were pivotal to everything that I am today. And whilst the cadet movement does not exist to recruit people for a military career, it was so formative for me that they gave me the skills to thrive at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst, which I now represent as a local MP, and throughout a 27-year military career. And my response to almost everything that has been asked of me since leaving the cadets probably has its foundation in my time with the cadets. So it has made a huge difference to me personally. But what of the cadet forces themselves? The MOD sponsors 5 different types of cadet forces: the Sea Cadet Corps, the Volunteer Cadet Corps, the Army Cadet Force and Air Training Corps. These are single service in nature and not tied to schools. But the 5th, the Combined Cadet Force, offers more tri-service balance and is hosted within schools with adult volunteers often coming from the teaching staff. All of these units are voluntary organisations which offer challenging and enjoyable activities for young people and prepare them to play an active role in their community while developing life skills. Whilst they do model their traditions and ethos on their parent service, they are not actually part of HM forces and do not have any formal military role. The Sea Cadets consist of over 14,000 young people and 5,000 adult volunteers in 400 units across towns, cities and ports, undertaking activities such as sailing, boating and coastal navigation. The Volunteer Cadet Corps offers something very similar, but is more tightly connected to naval families and consists of around 460 cadets and 150 volunteers located in 8 naval bases across southern England and Scotland. The Army Cadet Force has over 37,000 cadets and 9,000 adult volunteers and celebrated its 150th anniversary in 2010. And the 4th of the non-school units is the Air Training Corps, which consists of over 44,000 cadets and volunteer staff in over 900 squadrons across the UK, encouraging participants to take an active interest in aviation and the Royal Air Force. Please do.
Mr Deputy Speaker, can I commend the Honourable Gentleman for Bracknell for bringing this forward? We spoke beforehand. The Schools Cadet Expansion Programme in Northern Ireland has gone from success to success with the latest school, Kilkeel High School, in the neighbouring constituency of my Strangford constituency, becoming the newest cadet force. This week, 139 pupils from schools across Northern Ireland entered the Cyber Skills Challenge company petition this year also, which is fantastic. So does the Honourable Gentleman agree that Northern Ireland very much is setting the targets for other cadet forces across the United Kingdom to try and match up to? And does he welcome the fact that it seems now there are almost as many people from a Roman Catholic persuasion are joining the cadet forces in Northern Ireland as there are Protestants?
Can I thank the Member for his intervention? And I completely agree. I think what's happening in Northern Ireland is a complete exemplar for the cadet movement, and the fact we've got a balance between Catholic and Protestant children in these units is quite something. It's about cohesion, it's about community, and I really commend what's happening over there. Indeed, as for the Combined Cadet Force, units exist in over 260 schools across the UK. Traditionally, they are the preserve of independent schools, with over 200 of them hosting detachments, but there are now at least 60 units in state schools too. They offer young students a broad range of exciting adventurous and educational activities that complement the normal school curriculum during the evening, at weekends and during the holidays. Like the other cadet units, they help to develop personal responsibility, leadership, teamwork and self-discipline, and in my view, it is no coincidence that many young cadets do emerge to be highly successful in their chosen career fields. In Berkshire, I am proud that we have a strong pedigree in terms of military presence. I could again mention the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst, Headquarters 77 Brigade at Hermitage, the Household Cavalry Regiment and 1st Battalion of the Coldstream Guards in Windsor, 7 Rifles in Reading, and so much more. But what I really want to highlight is the Royal County of Berkshire Army Cadet Force. This currently supports over 600 cadets and 120 adult volunteers and 18 detachments, many of whom I see on Remembrance Sunday and at special events alongside the Lord Lieutenant. And I want to give a big shout too to 7 Platoon in Bracknell, which does so much locally, trains and plays hard in equal measure, and which always looks so smart when I see them. Whilst we do not have a Sea Cadets unit in my constituency, Bracknell is also home to 2211 Squadron of the Air Training Corps. Having met several of the cadets recently, it never ceases to amaze me just how much is on offer. It is possible for cadets to go flying and to set themselves up to gain pilot licences. So, to anybody watching this from Bracknell Forest, please do consider joining the Army Cadet Force or the Air Training Corps locally. It is a real opportunity. As for the CCF, the Combined Cadet Force, there are 2 detachments located in my constituency. Wellington College has an established military presence and a proud history of service. Whilst I have not yet been invited to visit, I know by reputation that it is a good one. And at Brackenhouse School in Bracknell, I've watched with wonder how this fledgling detachment has evolved under the superb leadership and vision of Second Lieutenant Berry and Second Lieutenant Gildersleeve. Getting it off the ground with virtually nothing is quite an achievement, and it serves as an exemplar for the Cadet Expansion Programme, with over 100 of its pupils in Bracknell now being given the opportunity to wear uniform, train with the British Army, conduct adventure training and learn life skills that they may not otherwise have. I cannot commend Brackenhouse School enough for everything it's doing. I'm looking forward to the annual inspection later this year. So what of the Cadet Expansion Programme itself? Well, this was first launched on Armed Forces Day in June 2012 by Prime Minister David Cameron, with the aim to deliver 100 new cadet units in English state-funded schools by September 2015. This target was reached 6 months early in March 2015, and following the achievement, the government committed an extra £50 million from LIBOR fines to further increase the number of cadet units in schools across the UK, bringing the total number to 500 by 2020. Phase 3 is now underway, and the Minister is sure to provide a progress report later. The Cadet Expansion Programme is part of the government's aim of promoting military ethos in schools. This is to instil values in young people that will help them to get the most out of their lives, contribute to their communities, and foster those essential qualities of resilience, independence and teamwork that will assist their chosen career paths. Mirroring what has already been achieved in the private sector, state schools that have set up cadet units are offering significant benefits for their young people, their own schools and the local community. Head teachers report that they have seen significant improvement in attendance and behaviour, attainment, commitment, self-confidence and discipline, and that relationships between staff and students have improved. The sense of pride that some students feel is also palpable. And given that this government is a champion of aspiration, opportunity and enterprise, I want to see the programme develop further and faster so that all pupils, irrespective of their background, can have better access to these superb opportunities. Before I close, I just want to highlight a number of areas where I feel that we can do better. First and foremost, it would be massively positive for all of our adult volunteers to be given a financial incentive for their time. Not only would this be recruitment and retention positive, it would send a clear signal that the MOD is taking the broader benefits more seriously. Our volunteers are the lifeblood of the cadet movement, and it would be remiss of me not to formally thank and pay tribute to the huge contribution that is being made by everyone who runs our detachments. We should also invest more in our cadet infrastructure by repairing some of our older halls, building new ones, and providing better training facilities such as ranges and accommodation. It goes without saying that higher operating costs should be mitigated too, that more transport should be made available, that more opportunities are provided to train alongside our regular forces, and that better adventure training and more updated equipment can be delivered. Whilst it is a considerable outlay for the MOD to provide uniforms, weapons and other personal kit, it should be possible for serviceable ex-military equipment that would otherwise be disposed of to be provided to cadet units. And closer tie-ups with regular and reserve units through the affiliation process should help to ensure that greater localised support is available for those detachments that do need it. Lastly, as someone who got so much out of the Combined Cadet Force and Officer Training Corps, I was always hugely privileged to visit and to inspect local cadet units in Berkshire, Surrey and Hampshire, particularly when serving as a commanding officer in Aldershot and at Sandhurst. Our cadets are our future. Whether they choose to join HM forces or not, their service in uniform will leave a lasting legacy throughout their lifetime, and their personal skills will be called upon, as they have for me. I also wish to thank the many organisations who continue to enable the cadet movement, not least our single service branches, such as the Cadets Branch at Headquarters Regional Command in Aldershot, which forms part of Home Command, the National Cadet Training Centre at Frimley Green, which does so much to train our adult volunteers, and our Reserve Forces and Cadet Associations, or RFCAs, which support our cadet forces so well behind the scenes. Indeed, I am now wearing the distinctive tie of the South East RFCA, which I've worked alongside for many years. Please do keep up the great work. I will conclude, if I may, by paying tribute to the other youth movements across the UK, which do so much to promote the essential values that we have commended this evening. These are far too numerous to list, and I hope that can be forgiven, but we also have the Police Cadets, St John Ambulance Cadets, the Scout and Guide Movement, Venture Scouts, Youth Sports Clubs, Young Crusader, religious groups, breakfast and after-school clubs, environmental networks, online networks, voluntary organisations, and at least 8,000 more established groups that can easily be found with a quick search online. Mr Speaker, I'm often told by parents and teachers in my constituency that there is nothing for young people to do locally, that the government is not doing enough, that this is a key reason for antisocial behaviour, and that many are bored. My answer is usually the same. Really? But whilst there is always more that we can and must do locally and nationally, we should also be proud of what we have, not least within our cadet forces. Extending these opportunities more broadly across our society is a complete no-brainer for so many reasons, and I do hope that the Minister will not disappoint us. Thank you.
Armed Forces.